Beloved chosen one, heaven has paused everything around you for this moment. This is not an accident. This is heaven trying one more time to reach you. Listen, because this time, it is not a coincidence that you are hearing these words. This is divine timing. For so long, you have felt the pull in your spirit, that subtle stirring that you couldn't explain. You have felt moments when your heart grew heavy for no reason, when the noise of the world became unbearable, when something deep inside whispered, "There is more." Heaven is confirming that whisper right now. You were right. There is more. You are not here by random chance. You are here by divine orchestration. You are part of a plan that was set in motion before you took your first breath. Every time you resisted the call, every time you said, "Maybe later," heaven waited patiently, whispering again and again. But now, the whisper has turned into a knock. This is heaven's final knock on the door of your heart. You have been running from who you truly are, running from the very thing that was designed to save you. You have tried to drown the divine voice in distractions, in relationships, in noise, in endless scrolling. But heaven says, no more. The time for running has expired. The time for awakening has come. You can feel it, can't you? That weight pressing on your chest isn't anxiety, it's conviction. That warmth flooding through your body isn't fear, it's the presence of heaven brushing against your spirit. The same spirit that hovered over the waters in Genesis is hovering over you now. Heaven is not calling you because you are perfect. Heaven is calling you because you are chosen. Your imperfections are not disqualifications, they are proof of grace. Every scar, every tear, every battle you thought disqualified you was actually the training ground for your anointing. You've been set apart for something holy. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 20, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with that person, and they with me." This is the moment heaven knocks once more. Can you hear it? That gentle knocking at the door of your heart. It's not imagination. It's divine invitation. The Creator of the universe is asking to dine with you, to dwell with you, to transform you from the inside out. But the handle is on your side of the door. Only you can open it. You may not feel worthy. But heaven isn't searching for the worthy, it's reaching for the willing. You don't have to be perfect to open the door. You only need to be honest. Heaven already knows your past, your pain, your failures, and yet still says, "I want you." You've run long enough. You've silenced the voice long enough. You've buried your calling beneath fear and distraction long enough. Heaven is saying, "Come home." There's a holy urgency in the air right now, a stirring that will not release you until you answer. This isn't fear calling, it's love calling. And love never forces, it knocks. The one who holds galaxies in his hands is waiting for your yes. Chosen one, you have spent too many nights trying to numb what was meant to wake you. You've tried to fit in where heaven designed you to stand out. But the time for blending in is over. Heaven has placed a mark on you, and nothing can erase it. The world may forget your name, but heaven never will. You will look back on this moment and realize it wasn't a random video. It wasn't an algorithm. It was heaven knocking. The same knock that could change everything if you simply open the door. You are not being called into religion. You are being called into relationship. Heaven wants to commune with you, not condemn you. You have run far, but never beyond reach. You have fallen deep, but never beyond grace. Heaven is still reaching, still knocking, still loving. Do not resist this call. Resistance leads to delay, and delay leads to regret. But surrender leads to peace. When you say yes, chains fall. When you open the door, light floods in. When you surrender, purpose ignites. This is your confirmation. This is the knock you've been ignoring, echoing one last time. Heaven says, I'm still here. I still want you. Will you open the door? Beloved chosen one, if this word is stirring something deep in your soul, don't scroll away. Pause and let heaven's presence wash over you. Like this message, if you feel the knock in your heart, share it so that others might hear the call too. And when you know this is your moment, when your spirit whispers yes, declare it publicly as a prophetic act. Comment 777 to declare, Heaven, I open the door. Chosen one, heaven saw it all the nights when your pillow was soaked with silent tears. When you questioned if anyone noticed the battles inside your heart, you carried the weight of invisible wars. Smiling when you were breaking, holding others together while you were falling apart. Yet not a single tear fell unnoticed. Heaven recorded every one. You have been walking with a heavy heart, not realizing that what you called pain was actually divine preparation. You asked, why me? And heaven whispered, because I trust you. You didn't choose the weight chose you. Because you were built to carry glory. What others would have crumbled under, you endured. What shattered others, you survived. There is a sacred strength inside you, forged in seasons of silence. When everyone left, heaven remained. When no one understood, heaven did. You thought you were being abandoned, but you were being hidden. Hidden not to be forgotten, but to be preserved for a moment such as this. Your tears were prayers in disguise. Every sigh, every ache was speaking heaven's language, even when your lips could not form words. When you felt unseen, you were actually being watched by the eyes that never sleep. The same eyes that watched over the prophets, the same eyes that followed the shepherd boy David in the wilderness, have never left you. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in the book of Psalms, chapter 56, verse 8, you keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle and recorded each one in your book. Heaven has not ignored your pain, it has catalogued it, honored it, and turned it into oil. Every tear you shed is being transformed into the very anointing that will heal others. The crushing was necessary, for only through crushing can oil flow. You thought you were being punished, but you were being purified. The moments that felt like breaking were actually birthing something holy. Heaven was stretching you beyond your comfort, so that when the time came, you would not break under the weight of your purpose. You were not buried, you were planted. The loneliness you felt was heaven pulling you closer. Sometimes God removes the crowd so that you can hear his whisper. You were never meant to belong to the noise. That isolation wasn't rejection, it was redirection. You were never forgotten, you were being refined. Chosen one. There were days when your strength ran out, but somehow you kept breathing. That was grace carrying you. You didn't see it, but angels stood guard around your bed. Heaven was closer in your darkest hour than you realized. You see, The weight you've been carrying was not meant to destroy you, it was meant to define you. The pressure that felt unbearable was producing endurance, wisdom, compassion, and faith that can't be shaken. Others talk about faith. You've lived it. You've known what it feels like to believe when everything around you screams doubt. And now, heaven wants you to understand this truth. You were chosen for this weight because you could handle it. You were chosen to endure it so others could be free. You were chosen to walk through the fire so others would see that the fire cannot consume what is anointed. Every burden you've carried is becoming your testimony. Every scar you've hidden will become the proof of God's faithfulness. You will speak from a place of authenticity. Because you've been there, you've lived through it. You will no longer just tell people God is good. You will show them through your story. Do not despise the seasons of heaviness. They are not punishment, they are evidence of purpose. You are being trusted with weight because heaven knows what's inside you can carry it. The weight is a signal of divine favor, not divine absence. So lift your head, chosen one. You've been walking bent under the load, but heaven says, you can set it down now. The pain that once pressed you down is turning into the power that will lift you up. The tears that blurred your vision are clearing your sight. The heaviness is breaking, and in its place, strength is rising. You are not broken beyond repair. You are being rebuilt with divine precision. Every fracture is being filled with glory. Every weak place is becoming a testimony. Heaven is proud of you for not giving up. You didn't know it, but you were carrying light all along. The weight you've been carrying was never meant to crush you, it was meant to crown you. You are stepping out of the season of heaviness and into the season of divine lifting. What once broke, you will now bless you. Heaven is exchanging your ashes for beauty, your sorrow for joy, your burden for wings. Rise, your strength has been renewed, and as heaven watches, the same tears that once fell in darkness now shine like jewels of testimony. Every weight that tried to bury you becomes the foundation of your victory. Walk boldly. Chosen one, the heavens recognize your endurance and call your name with honor. Chosen one, there has been a war over your soul that you could not see. While you wondered why life felt like constant chaos, the unseen realm has been battling for your destiny. Every delay, every disappointment, every sudden wave of confusion, it wasn't random, it was resistance. Darkness recognized your potential long before you did, from the moment you were marked. The forces of darkness conspired to silence you. That is why your childhood was harder. Why betrayal cut deeper. Why loneliness lingered longer. You were not cursed, you were targeted. Because light always provokes warfare. But listen closely now, the battle was never about what you lost, it was about who you would become if you survived. The enemy feared the version of you that would rise on the other side of pain. He feared your voice, your influence, your anointing. You have been under attack, not because you are weak, but because you are dangerous to darkness. Heaven is exposing the plot. You have been walking through a spiritual battlefield disguised as daily life. The heaviness that visited you in the night, the voices that told you you're not enough, the sudden waves of fear, these were not coincidences. They were the enemy's last attempts to distract you before your awakening. According to what is revealed in the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. You are not crazy. You are not imagining it. The warfare was real, but so is your authority. Heaven reminds you that your voice carries power to shift the atmosphere. When you speak light, darkness trembles. When you pray, invisible realms respond. The attacks on your mind were meant to make you question who you are. But you're not losing your mind, you're regaining your clarity. You are seeing through the fog of deception that's been trying to keep you small. Heaven is lifting the veil, revealing what has truly been going on. You have survived storms that were never meant to end in your survival. That is proof that heaven's hand has been protecting you all along. When you thought the battle would consume you, divine mercy surrounded you. Every trap set against you has been turned into training. Every wound became wisdom. Now, heaven says, enough hiding. You have been under spiritual fire long enough. You have seen enough loss, enough pain, enough confusion. This is the moment where awareness becomes victory. You will not only survive, you will conquer. The weapons formed against you have failed because your spirit is marked by light. You may have felt the sting of battle, but you never lost your covering. Heaven never withdrew its hand, even in silence. Heaven fought for you. Angels stood between you and the attacks you never even noticed. The reason darkness fought you so violently is because you carry what can set others free. There is freedom in your words, healing in your presence, and restoration in your story. That's why the enemy wanted you quiet, because your testimony carries fire. But you cannot be silenced anymore. You've reached the point of no return. You've tasted too much truth to go back to blindness. Heaven is awakening your discernment now. You will begin to recognize spiritual patterns, sense unseen motives, and walk in divine awareness. Do not fear what you see in the spirit. Fear is not your portion. You have been given authority to tread on serpents and scorpions, to walk through the shadows without being touched. You are not a victim of this war. You are heaven's warrior. The same spirit that raised Christ from the dead lives in you, and darkness cannot extinguish what heaven has ignited. So, stand tall, lift your head high. The warfare may have been real, but victory is even more real. Heaven has decreed your triumph. The night is breaking, and light is spilling through the cracks. The enemy tried to break you, but instead he made you unbreakable. Chosen one. This battle was never meant to end your story. It was meant to reveal your strength. You've been through the fire, and now you shine. Every scar tells the story of a survivor who became a warrior. Now, as a prophetic act, declare your awareness. Speak it out loud. Let heaven hear you, and let darkness tremble at the sound of your realization. Comment, I see now. Because when you see, you can no longer be deceived. When you see, you reclaim power. When you see, you remember who you are, a chosen warrior, born of light, unstoppable by darkness. When you type, I see now, you're declaring that blindness has broken. You are no longer bound by confusion. Your spirit is awake. Your eyes are clear, and truth has claimed you. Every letter you write becomes a banner in the spirit, marking your transition from victim to victor. By saying, I see now, you confirm revelation has come, and darkness has lost its hold. Chosen one. Before the foundations of the world were set, before light separated from darkness, your name was spoken in the language of eternity. You were not born randomly, nor were you the product of circumstance. You were marked with divine intent. Heaven wrote your story long before your first breath, and your existence carries the fingerprint of divine purpose. There are mysteries hidden within your life that only revelation can unlock. You have often wondered why you feel different, why certain things pierce your spirit while others remain unmoved. It is because your soul remembers heaven's voice. You were sent to earth carrying the memory of divine assignment. Even before you knew the name of God, He knew yours. You are not like the rest. You were designed to see what others overlook, to sense what others ignore, to stand firm when others bow. That tension you've always felt, the feeling of not belonging, was never rejection. It was heaven's reminder that you are a citizen of another realm. The world tries to shape you, but your spirit resists because it knows its origin. You have carried questions deep within your heart, questions that no human could answer. Why me? Why this path? Why this constant pull towards something greater? Heaven answers now, because you were chosen before time began. You were selected to be light in the middle of chaos, order in the midst of confusion, hope in the hour of despair. We are reminded through the writings of the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 1, verse 5, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations." These are not just ancient words, they are a living declaration over you. Before your parents dreamed of you, heaven did. You are not a mistake. You are an assignment. You were formed with intention, shaped by divine design, and sent into this generation carrying a message no one else can deliver. This is why your path has never been easy. The greater the calling, the heavier the preparation. The things that broke others couldn't break you, because your foundation was built on eternity. You have faced battles that should have ended you. Yet every time you rose again, that resilience was not human strength, it was the evidence of divine marking. When you were overlooked, heaven saw you. When you were rejected, heaven protected you. The closed doors you cried over were not punishment, they were preservation. Heaven refused to let you settle in places beneath your calling. The delay you despised was divine timing disguised as silence. You see, to be chosen is to be refined. To be marked is to be tested. Heaven doesn't send fragile vessels into spiritual warfare. Heaven sends the forged, the faithful, the fireproof. Every trial that felt unbearable was heaven proving your endurance. Every season of waiting was shaping your obedience. Chosen one, heaven is unveiling your identity piece by piece. You are not just surviving this life, you are fulfilling prophecy. Your existence was foretold in heaven's timeline. And now, in this generation, your name is being whispered by angels as one of those who carries heaven's agenda. The world may not recognize your value yet, but heaven does. Heaven saw you before titles, before platforms, before applause. Heaven saw you when no one believed, when even you doubted your worth. Heaven said, "That one belongs to me." And even when you wandered, heaven never revoked its claim. You may have walked through shadows, but the light never left you. You may have doubted your worth, but heaven never did. The mark upon you is eternal. It cannot be erased by failure, sin, or fear. It remains, glowing softly beneath every scar, declaring that you are His. There will come a time soon when the world will see what heaven has always seen. You will walk into rooms where your presence shifts atmospheres. Because you carry something otherworldly, you will speak and hearts will awaken. Not because of your eloquence, but because your words carry the frequency of heaven. You were not designed to blend in. The discomfort you feel in conformity is divine rebellion against mediocrity. You carry heaven's DNA, and ordinary cannot satisfy you anymore. You are being pulled higher because there are realms waiting for your obedience. So do not despise your difference, it is your distinction. Do not curse your uniqueness, it is your calling card. Heaven did not mark you to make you miserable, it marked you to make you memorable. You are a vessel of divine legacy, a walking echo of heaven's voice on earth. Chosen one. Remember this always before you were formed. You were known before you were born. You were set apart. Nothing you've faced has been outside heaven's awareness. Every detour has been part of the design. And now, as the veil lifts, heaven whispers once more, you were marked before birth, and your time has come to remember. Chosen one, the time of revealing has begun. What was once hidden is being brought into the light. Heaven is uncovering truths you were never meant to miss and showing you who has been for you and who has been against you. This is the season of divine exposure, where masks fall and motives are seen clearly. You may have felt confusion about why certain people suddenly left, why situations shifted without warning, why connections that once felt unshakable suddenly faded. But heaven wants you to know it wasn't rejection, it was protection. When you prayed for clarity, heaven answered by removing what could not go with you. Every exposure is mercy. Every revelation is love. Heaven never uncovers to shame you. Heaven uncovers to save you. You could not build the next chapter of your destiny on foundations that were cracked. Some people were never enemies. They were simply lessons. And when the lesson is complete, the season closes. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 22, he reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what lies in darkness, and light dwells with him. Chosen one, light is now dwelling with you. The Spirit of truth has entered your life, and nothing can stay hidden. You may feel a sting as the truth surfaces, but do not fear. It is heaven's way of cleansing your path. You are being purified from every alliance, mindset, and distraction that would slow your rise. Heaven is saying, you prayed for elevation, but elevation always exposes. The higher you go, the more visible things become, and this visibility is not to make you fearful, but faithful. Heaven trusts you to handle truth with grace, to forgive what is revealed, and to walk forward without bitterness. You are being positioned for divine partnerships, people who carry light as you do, those whose hearts are pure and intentions true. You will no longer have to question loyalty. Heaven will surround you with kindred spirits who see your calling, not your mistakes. And as heaven lifts you, it gently reminds you every platform built on truth must also be sustained by love. That love extends not only through words, but through giving, through sharing, through supporting the work that touches souls and spreads light across the world. If this message has reached your heart, take a gentle step. Tap the flame so it grows by liking this word of light. Every like is like striking a small match in a dark room, and together, those sparks become sunrise. Share this message as a river shares its water freely, naturally, without measure, so that others who thirst for truth may drink. Subscribe so that this current of heaven continues to flow to you. Let every new word become a ripple that meets you right when your spirit needs it most. And if your heart feels a quiet pull to give, let it be as effortless as breathing. Giving is not a price, it's a prayer made tangible. Think of it as planting a glowing seed into the soil of light. You may not see it at once, but soon it will bloom in the form of peace, provision, and new purpose. You can donate not because you must, but because your spirit desires to keep the light alive for others. Every seed sown becomes another lantern lit on someone's dark road. Heaven sees even the smallest flame and multiplies its warmth. Perhaps your support isn't material at all. Maybe it's your prayer, your time, or simply pressing share. Every act matters. Every gesture echoes in eternity. The work continues because hearts like yours refuse to let the flame fade. So, chosen one, if this word has stirred something within you, like, share, subscribe, or give as your heart leads, not as a duty but as an act of love, a whispered yes to heaven's work through this space. You are part of this movement of light, a keeper of the fire, and as you keep it burning, heaven promises the same flame that warms others will never let you grow cold. The light that found you today will not leave you. It will follow you into every valley, whispering truth into the places you once feared to look. Every step forward now becomes a declaration that darkness no longer owns your name. Heaven is watching your journey with joy. The same hand that wrote your beginning is now unfolding your next chapter. You are walking out of confusion into clarity, out of pain into promise, carrying fire where shadows once claimed space. Every act of faith, every share, every seed, every whispered prayer is weaving threads of light into eternity's fabric. You are part of something far greater than you can see. A divine story still being written through your obedience. And when you rest tonight, remember, heaven smiles when you choose hope again. What you give in love returns multiplied in peace. You are not alone. You are accompanied by angels, carried by grace, and crowned by the light you chose to keep. Chosen one, you have felt it, a divine pull deep inside your chest. A quiet magnet that draws your heart towards something sacred. For so long, you have tried to resist it. You convinced yourself that it wasn't the right time, that you weren't ready, that you needed more proof. But heaven says, you have all the proof you need. Your spirit knows this is real. You are standing in a moment of invitation. Heaven has been calling your name softly through circumstances, through dreams, through sudden peace that you couldn't explain. Each time you ignored it, it returned stronger, more personal, more urgent, but never forceful. Because love does not push, it pulls. This pull you feel is not anxiety, it's alignment. It's heaven tugging on the invisible thread that connects your soul to its divine origin. It's not meant to make you afraid. It's meant to remind you that there is something greater waiting on the other side of surrender. When you resist, you delay. When you delay, you drift. Heaven doesn't want you drifting anymore. It wants you grounded in destiny. You have tasted too much truth to live in confusion. You've seen too much light to pretend you're comfortable in the dark. According to what is revealed in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19, this day I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live. Heaven has placed a choice before you, the choice between staying the same or stepping into the fullness of who you were created to be. Choosing life doesn't just mean breathing, it means believing. It means walking away from what numbs your spirit and running toward what nourishes your soul. Every time you feel that pull, it's heaven saying, "Come closer." Every hesitation is a spiritual tug of war between comfort and calling. You have carried enough weight from old patterns, old fears, and old doubts. It's time to release them. You cannot walk into new purpose carrying old pain. You were made for surrender, not struggle. The world taught you that surrender means defeat. But heaven teaches that surrender is freedom. You lose nothing by yielding to the one who created you. You gain everything that truly matters. Think of your heart as a garden. When you resist heaven's pull, the soil hardens, it cannot receive new seed. But when you surrender, when you finally open yourself, the soil softens, and heaven begins to plant destiny again. That's why surrender feels like breaking. It's actually blooming. Heaven doesn't want perfection from you. It wants permission. Permission to heal what you've hidden, to renew what's grown weary, to rewrite what's been twisted by pain. The moment you say yes, heaven moves. The moment you yield, miracles start aligning in silence. You've said later so many times that later has become your language of avoidance. But heaven says, now, because now is sacred. Now is mercy. Now is the bridge between old you and the you that creation has been waiting for. Chosen one. This pull won't leave you alone because it loves you too much to let you stay asleep. You can run from people, but you can't outrun purpose. You can silence the world, but you cannot silence heaven's pursuit. So here you stand between resistance and release. Heaven doesn't demand your yes, it desires it. You can feel it like a heartbeat that is not your own, whispering, "It's time." The same hand that protected you is now inviting you to participate in your own redemption. Surrender is not loss, it's exchange. You give up confusion and receive clarity. You let go of control and receive peace. You release fear and receive strength. That's the divine trade heaven offers when you stop resisting. Do not fear what's waiting on the other side of yes. The path may look uncertain, but your guide is not. Heaven doesn't ask you to see the entire staircase. It only asks you to take the first step. So if your spirit feels the pull right now, don't ignore it again. This is your sacred moment, a moment that heaven orchestrated long before today. Don't overthink it. Simply respond. Comment 888 below, not as a routine gesture, but as a declaration that you choose alignment. That number represents new beginnings, divine order, and the rhythm of heaven's completion over your life. When you type 888, you're not just commenting, you're prophesying. You're saying, I choose life. I choose surrender. I choose peace. Heaven takes note of every small act of obedience, and this one will echo in eternity. You are closer than you think. Let go of resistance. Let heaven's pull win. When you type 888, you are stepping into a divine rhythm where old cycles close and new seasons begin. It's not just a number, it's a doorway of obedience, where heaven meets your surrender with blessing. Each digit whispers completion, renewal, restoration. By declaring 888, you mark your moment of alignment. saying to heaven, "I am ready." The unseen world responds, and light begins to weave new patterns across your destiny. Chosen one, there is a voice inside you that you have tried to silence for years, the whisper that speaks in the quiet hours, the one that surfaces in moments of stillness when the noise of the world fades away. You've tried to drown it out with distractions, with endless movement, with everything that numbs. Yet, it keeps finding its way back. That voice is not imagination, it is heaven. It has always been there. Patient, unwavering, gentle but unrelenting. When you were on the verge of giving up, it whispered, "Keep going." When you made mistakes, it whispered, "You are still loved." When shame tried to claim you, it whispered, "This is not your end." You may not have recognized it then, but that whisper was heaven guarding your soul. You see, the enemy wanted to make you believe that you were forgotten. That silence meant absence. But the truth is, silence often means presence. Heaven doesn't shout over chaos. Heaven speaks softly, because it expects that you will lean in closer. That's how intimacy is built, not through noise, but through nearness. You've mistaken the quiet for abandonment, but the quiet was invitation. Heaven was never ignoring you. Heaven was training your ear. The voice you tried to silence is the same one that has been calling you home. It doesn't condemn, it convicts. It doesn't manipulate, it mends. That voice carries the same tone that spoke creation into existence. As was written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 21, "Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you, saying, 'This is the way, walk in it.' I go on the ways." That verse is your truth. Chosen one, you have been walking through confusion because you didn't trust your own hearing. But heaven says, "My sheep know my voice." You don't need to question whether it's real. You've already felt its peace. The voice of heaven never brings fear. It brings stillness. It doesn't demand, it directs. Every time you felt an inner nudge that didn't make sense but led to peace, that was heaven. Every time you were warned not to go somewhere or speak something, and chaos followed when you ignored it, that was heaven's protection. The divine voice inside you is not foreign, it's familiar, because it's where you came from. You are learning now that discernment isn't born from noise, but from quietness. When you stop running, when you sit in the silence, when you finally exhale, that's when you'll hear what's been speaking all along. The world teaches you to chase, but heaven teaches you to listen. There is a sacred rhythm to heaven's voice. It does not rush, it flows. It speaks in patterns of peace. Never panic. It repeats until you recognize it. Like a melody you once knew by heart, but forgot over time. You were created to live in tune with that sound. When you were a child, you were closer to that voice. You sensed wonder easily. You felt heaven in small things, and you believed without evidence. The world taught you to question what your spirit already knew. But heaven is restoring that childlike hearing, the ability to trust divine whispers even when logic disagrees. Chosen one, the voice of heaven will never compete for your attention. It will simply wait for your surrender. When you are finally tired of noise, when your soul aches for quiet, that's when you'll find clarity waiting for you like an old friend. Heaven's voice does not come in thunder for everyone. Sometimes it comes in the pause between breaths, in the warmth after prayer, In the unexplainable peace that follows a moment of despair, it comes as memory, comfort, intuition, or knowing that defies explanation. You don't have to chase prophecy when you are already living in conversation. You are not meant to depend on external voices more than the internal one heaven placed inside you. What you hear within when you are still, that's the compass you've been seeking all along. This voice will not lead you to confusion. It will lead you to alignment. It will not drive you toward fear. It will guide you toward faith. It will correct you. Yes, but it will also comfort you. Heaven disciplines in love, not anger. Every word it speaks shapes you for destiny, not destruction. Chosen one, you are learning to listen again. You are rediscovering the sacred sound of stillness. You are realizing that heaven was never far, it was always within. The same power that raised the dead, the same wisdom that formed creation, now dwells in the still, steady rhythm of your heart. When you begin to trust that voice, your decisions will shift. You will no longer move in reaction, but in revelation. You will no longer rush to prove your worth. You will walk in peace knowing you already have it. Heaven's voice is your map, your safety, your constant guide through every storm. So, the next time the world demands you to shout, choose to listen instead. In the silence, you will hear the sound of heaven's heartbeat steady, patient, calling you home. Chosen one, grace has stretched long over your life. There have been countless moments when heaven's mercy intercepted judgment, when compassion stood between you and consequence. You have been carried by grace more times than you know. Heaven's patience has lingered because love never withdraws without warning. But now, heaven leans close and whispers, "Do not take this grace for granted." There is a moment when mercy speaks louder than comfort, when heaven extends one more chance, not because you deserve it, but because purpose still calls your name. This is such a moment. You are not hearing this message by coincidence. It is heaven's final extension of mercy before transition, before accountability, before the next chapter begins. Heaven's patience is not weakness. It is strength wrapped in compassion. You have seen storms pass you by that should have destroyed you. You have watched doors open again after you swore you'd close them for good. You've been given time, divine time, to make peace with what you've resisted. But grace is not endless. Grace is purposeful. It waits for repentance, not procrastination. You have walked close to danger, thinking, "I'll change later." But later is a luxury heaven no longer promises. There comes a point when mercy stands and says, "Enough wandering." Heaven is not warning you to scare you. Heaven is pleading to save you. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Joel. Chapter 2, verse 13, "Return to the Lord your God, for he is gracious and compassionate, slow to anger and abounding in love, and he relents from sending calamity." This word is heaven's echo through time, a plea wrapped in tenderness. Return. Come back, not to religion, but to relationship, not to performance, but to presence. Heaven isn't asking for perfection, it's asking for surrender. You cannot keep touching what breaks you and expect peace to remain. You cannot keep running and still claim rest. Chosen one, heaven has covered you through rebellion and recklessness. It has protected you from the fallout of choices that should have burned you. That protection was never permission, it was grace buying you time to awaken. The same mercy that shielded you is now calling you to maturity. Grace is not a pillow for disobedience, it's a doorway for transformation. You know this moment in your spirit. You felt the tension, the internal pull between comfort and conviction. That's not confusion, that's heaven drawing a line between who you were and who you must become. The voice that once whispered gently now feels heavier because love grows urgent when time grows short. The days of hesitation are over. You've lingered at the edge of obedience long enough. The door of grace is still open, but it won't remain unguarded forever. Heaven's love will never abandon you, but its opportunities are seasonal. When the moment passes, it does not return easily. You have been spared for purpose, not for indulgence. You are being awakened not to fear punishment, but to recognize privilege, to understand that being chosen is an invitation, not an excuse. Grace has kept you, but calling now requires you to respond. The world teaches you that mercy means you can continue as you are, but heaven teaches that mercy is meant to change you. Each time grace finds you, it's asking you to grow, to rise, to become. The same grace that forgave yesterday now calls you to transform today. Do not mistake delay for disinterest. Heaven has been waiting, watching, whispering, sending reminders through people, through pain, through moments like this. The signs you've been ignoring, the recurring dreams, the sudden unease in wrong places, the inexplicable peace when you consider turning back, these are all heaven's hands tugging at your soul. Chosen one. This isn't about guilt, it's about glory. Heaven isn't asking for confession, it's asking for connection. It wants to dwell where you've shut it out. It wants to restore what rebellion distorted. The mercy that once covered you now longs to cleanse you. You are one yes away from alignment, one surrender away from peace. Grace has stretched itself thin to reach this moment. Don't make heaven whisper again what you already know in your spirit. There's a holy urgency not to panic you, but to position you for redemption. When mercy withdraws, the absence of peace reveals it. That's why lately, even success feels empty, and noise feels heavy. Heaven is slowly lifting the veil, showing what life feels like without grace's constant covering. It is not punishment, it's persuasion. It's heaven reminding you that life outside divine presence is just existence without purpose. Beloved, hear this clearly. Heaven has not given up on you. If it had, you wouldn't be reading these words. This moment exists because love still fights for you. The door is still open, but you must choose to walk through it. Don't resist anymore. Don't delay the joy that's waiting. Grace has carried you this far. Now, surrender will carry you further. You don't need to earn forgiveness, it's already extended. All heaven waits for is your return, your willingness to let go of what's fading so you can embrace what's eternal. The same mercy that held you yesterday now stands before you like open arms, whispering once more, return. Chosen one. There comes a moment when the light breaks in, when what once felt unreachable suddenly becomes clear, when the fog lifts and your heart knows peace again. That moment is not far from you, it is here. It begins the moment you stop running from the light and finally let it in. You've spent years walking in half-light, glimpsing truth, but never standing fully in it. You feared exposure because you equated it with shame. But heaven never exposes. To humiliate it exposes to heal. The light isn't coming to burn you, it's coming to free you. There is nothing that light cannot redeem. Even the parts you've hidden, the memories you've buried, the mistakes you've tried to forget, heaven's light can transform them into wisdom. You are not disqualified by darkness, you are refined through it. Every scar has the potential to reflect glory when touched by light. According to what is revealed in the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 5, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Darkness tried, but it could not win. Every night of despair, every battle for your mind, every shadow that whispered you would not make it, none of it could extinguish the flame within you, because that flame is not of this world, it is the breath of heaven itself. You have felt that light flicker before, moments when peace found you unexpectedly, when clarity came after confusion, when a whisper inside said, "Keep going." That was not coincidence, it was a visitation. Heaven's light has been chasing you, even through your lowest valleys. And now, heaven says, "Let me in completely." The light does not need your perfection, it only needs your permission. It will not force its way through closed doors, it will wait patiently for your invitation. When you open the door, the healing begins. Light does not arrive with thunder, it enters softly. It seeps into the cracks, fills the emptiness, and begins to reshape everything it touches. You won't realize how much darkness you carried until you feel what true peace feels like. You will breathe differently. You will see differently. When the light enters, shame loses its grip. Fear begins to fade. Memories that once hurt begin to feel like lessons instead of wounds. That's how you know you're being healed, not because the past disappears, but because it no longer defines you. Chosen one, there's a glow rising in you now. You can feel it, a warmth in your chest, a clarity in your thoughts, a stillness in your spirit. Heaven's light has reached the places that pain once ruled. You are being made new in silence, not spectacle. Let the light do its work. It will reveal, it will cleanse, it will restore. The shadows won't vanish instantly, but they will retreat as truth expands. Don't rush the process. Healing through light happens in layers. You have been afraid that if people saw your truth, they would walk away. But heaven says, even if they do, I won't. The light that exposes is the same light that embraces. Heaven does not uncover to condemn, it uncovers to crown. So, breathe. Let light in. Let it move through every hidden corridor of your heart. The walls you built for safety have also kept peace out. But when you open them, you'll find that heaven doesn't come to harm, it comes to heal. Chosen one, every time you welcome light, you push back darkness, not only in your own life, but in the lives connected to you. Your surrender becomes someone else's breakthrough. Your healing becomes another's hope. This is how heaven multiplies redemption through those brave enough to let light in. Now, as a prophetic act, seal this moment with words that align your heart to heaven's illumination. Comment, light, stay. When you write those two words, you're not just typing, you're declaring that the transformation has begun. You're saying, I choose to remain in the truth, no matter what it reveals. And heaven responds, then I will remain with you. You are no longer a wanderer in twilight. You are a torchbearer of dawn. When you type, light, stay, you're doing more than repeating a phrase. You're giving heaven permission to dwell within you. Those two words are an invitation, a vow whispered from your spirit to the one who never leaves. You are saying, "Let your presence remain in my every breath, my every thought, my every decision." Each time you write "light, stay," the unseen realm responds. Angels take note, marking your heart as a place of refuge for divine illumination. Shadows that once found comfort near you lose their hold because light refuses to share space with darkness. That declaration becomes your seal, your protection, your daily reminder that the presence of heaven abides with you. And when you wake tomorrow, the same light you welcome tonight will still be there, gentle, patient, unwavering. It will guide your steps, steady your mind, and heal what once hurt to remember. Light, stay becomes your anthem of renewal. Chosen one, you were never meant to hide your fire. The same hands that shaped galaxies placed within you a spark meant to ignite hearts. You've carried that light quietly for so long, afraid it might burn the wrong way or be misunderstood. But heaven says, it's time. Do not bury what was meant to blaze. You have walked through storms that should have silenced you, yet your voice still carries truth. You've been misunderstood, but that's because the language of heaven is rarely recognized by the world. What others call too much is exactly what heaven calls just enough. You were made to be visible not for fame, but for purpose. Heaven is raising you, not as a celebrity of faith, but as a living flame. Flames don't argue with darkness, they simply burn. And as you burn brighter, others will find their way. That's how light spreads, not through competition, but through connection. As Jesus said in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 16, "Let your light so shine before others, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." You've hidden too long behind fear of being seen, but the world is starving for authenticity. It needs people whose faith is not rehearsed, whose love is not performative, whose generosity feels like sunlight. You are one of them. Your story raw, imperfect, redeemed is the sermon someone has been waiting to hear. When you speak, even softly, heaven moves through your tone. When you forgive, angels record it as warfare won. When you give, you create ripples that reach further than you will ever see. You are a living altar, every act of kindness, every word of truth, every tear that falls unseen becomes worship rising like incense. And so, beloved, let your life continue to carry this light outward. If this message has touched you, let that resonance become motion. Click like, not out of habit, but as a symbolic act of agreement, as though you were striking a match and saying, "Yes, let light increase." If you feel this truth stirring within, share it. As rivers share rainwater, you never know whose desert your overflow might reach. Maybe a weary soul on the edge of giving up will see your shared light and remember that dawn still exists. If you've been finding strength, peace, or healing through these messages, consider how every word you hear is part of something sacred being built. Subscribing is not just following, it's choosing to stay near the stream that keeps your soul refreshed. And if your heart ever feels stirred to give, do it not as obligation, but as participation. Think of it as adding oil to a lamp. The flame already burns, but your offering keeps it steady for others still walking through their night. Even a drop of oil shines brighter than you imagine. To donate, is to join the circle of light, keeping it alive for someone who hasn't found it yet. You owe heaven nothing, yet you get to respond to love with love. That is the beauty of giving. It's not payment, it's partnership. When you give attention, the message grows. When you give kindness, the mission expands. When you give resource, the light travels further than your name ever could. This is how heaven multiplies miracles through hands that say, I'm willing. Chosen one. You are part of a living constellation, each like, share, gift, and word-forming stars that guide others home. Together, we are creating a sky where no one walks in darkness again. So, as you breathe in these words, let gratitude rise in you. Let your actions, however small, become sparks in the great design of light. If your heart says yes, let that yes echo through your fingertips. Like, share, subscribe, or give not because you must, but because love deserves a way to travel, and heaven, watching, smiles because every time a heart moves in generosity, it looks a little more like its creator. Every flame needs breath to live. Each time you breathe in gratitude, the light within you grows steadier, purer, stronger. Do not underestimate these quiet acts of faith. They are oxygen to the fire heaven entrusted to you. When you choose to shine, you teach others that courage can look gentle. You remind the world that love is not noise, but warmth. Not spectacle, but presence. This is how revolutions of the spirit begin, one illuminated heart at a time. Your giving, your sharing, your simple yes, these are not small gestures. They are threads weaving eternity's tapestry. Invisible, yet eternal. Somewhere, an unseen soul will find hope because of what you decided to release today. So, walk forward softly, glowing, carrying peace like a lantern through the night. Let the wind of heaven guide your steps. And remember, you were never meant to flicker alone. You are part of 1,000 lights, rising, radiant, unstoppable. And as those lights converge, heaven watches in awe. What began as one small flame in you becomes a sunrise across generations, proof that love, once awakened, can never be extinguished. Chosen one. The fire that once flickered inside you has become steady, now quiet, unwavering, certain. What used to feel fragile now feels sacred. You have been reshaped by revelation, redefined by grace. The journey has not been easy, but it has been holy. Every loss, every delay, every tear was a thread woven into a greater design that only heaven could see. You have entered the season of refinement, not as punishment, but as preparation. Heaven does not waste fire, it uses it. Everything that burned in your life was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal what could not be burned away. What remains is pure, incorruptible, and ready for glory. There were times you felt like the flames were too much, that perhaps heaven had forgotten mercy. But the truth is, mercy was in the fire all along. It burned away what could not carry you into destiny. The same heat that once hurt you is now the warmth that guides you. As the Apostle Peter wrote in his first letter, chapter 1, verse 7, "These trials have come so that the proven genuineness of your faith of greater worth than gold, which perishes even though refined by fire, may result in praise, glory and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed." Chosen one. That is your story, faith proven genuine. Not because you never doubted, but because you never stayed in doubt. You wrestled, you wept, you questioned, but you never quit. And heaven counts that perseverance as victory. The refining fire was never there to expose your weakness. It was there to awaken your strength. It revealed the parts of you that could endure. When everything else fell away, plans, pride, illusions, your spirit still stood. That's what heaven was, after all, along the pure gold of your heart. You have been refined in secret places where applause could not reach you. You were molded in hidden valleys where no one saw your endurance but heaven. Those silent seasons were not wasted. They were classrooms of trust, altars of surrender, and forges of purpose. Now, as you look back, you can see it, the pattern in the pain, the meaning in the waiting. You see how even the losses were mercy in disguise, how every closed door redirected you to the one that mattered. You see that the wilderness was not emptiness, it was encounter. Refinement doesn't come to the unchosen, it comes to the called. Heaven refines what it intends to reveal. Just as gold must face fire before it shines, your spirit had to face pressure before it carried power. You are no longer who you were at the beginning of this journey. You have been remade. The anger that once ruled you has softened into compassion. The fear that once paralyzed you has turned into discernment. The doubt that once silenced you has become the very ground on which your faith stands unshaken. What the enemy meant for ruin, heaven has repurposed for revelation. Chosen one. The fire was heaven's way of saying, I trust you with transformation. You were chosen not because you were flawless, but because you were faithful. Faithful to keep walking when you could not see. Faithful to believe when nothing made sense. Faithful to hold on when letting go would have been easier. Now, others will look at you and see resilience, but heaven sees reflection. You reflect the image of endurance, the glow of grace, the strength of one who has been through fire and come out as light. You carry evidence that survival is not the end, transformation is. This is why heaven could not let you settle. You were made for more than comfort, you were made for consecration. You were designed to live in dimensions where ordinary hearts cannot breathe. The heat you endured was heaven expanding your capacity. You are not fragile anymore, you are forged. Chosen one. The refining fire will always mark you, but it will never consume you again. You have learned to walk with flame as friend, not foe. You understand now that the fire was never against you, it was in you. It was heaven's breath, purging, polishing, preparing. You are becoming what the world desperately needs, but rarely sees: someone who has passed through pain and come out pure. Someone who no longer hides scars, but wears them as proof that healing is real. Someone whose presence reminds others that ashes can still bloom into beauty. And so, you stand now not as a survivor, but as a symbol, a living testament that the fire did not win, it refined. That pain did not destroy, it delivered. That what once seemed like loss was simply heaven clearing room for glory. The refining is complete. Chosen one, you are ready. Heaven's reflection gleams from within you now, bright and steady, proof that endurance was never in vain. You have emerged from the fire carrying light that no storm can dim. Every breath you take now carries purpose. Every step radiates grace. You are not merely healed, you have become healing itself. Chosen one. You have reached a sacred crossroads, the place where destiny waits for your decision. You have carried revelation, endured refining, and felt heaven's hand shaping you in silence. Now, the question rises gently from within your spirit. Will you obey? This is not obedience born of fear, but of love. Heaven does not demand, it invites. The voice that calls you forward is the same one that comforted you in your darkest nights. It does not shout. It whispers. It does not threaten. It woos. Heaven's invitation is holy but tender, urgent but kind. You've heard it before, haven't you? That subtle stirring, that quiet sense that the next step is already waiting for your yes. But the comfort of what is known has kept you standing still. You've prayed for change while clinging to familiarity. Heaven smiles, not in anger, but in patience. It knows the human heart must often let go twice before it finally moves. According to the book of Joshua, chapter 24, verse 15, choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. That verse echoes through time into this moment. Heaven is not forcing your choice. It is simply holding out its hand once more. The path of comfort or the path of calling, the decision belongs to you. But remember, comfort will give you peace for a night. Calling will give you purpose for a lifetime. Obedience is not about understanding everything. It's about trusting the one who does. You will never see the entire map, but you are called to move when heaven lights the next step. That is faith in its purest form, trusting light enough to walk without fear of darkness. Chosen one, your hesitation is holy. It means you understand the weight of this moment. Heaven does not rush you. It waits for sincerity. But understand, this delay is not neutrality. To stand still when heaven moves forward is to drift backward without realizing it. You are not being asked to sacrifice joy, but to exchange lesser joys for greater ones. What heaven offers is not restriction, it's restoration. When you obey, you will find that obedience was never loss, it was alignment. Every time you've resisted the divine pull, life has felt heavier. Every time you've said yes, peace has followed. That is no coincidence. Your obedience is the bridge between promise and manifestation. You have prayed for signs, but heaven is waiting for surrender. Once you step forward, everything that's been withheld will begin to flow again. Provision, direction, peace, and power. You are not being called into duty. You are being called into destiny. Obedience is not a burden. It's a rhythm, a divine dance where your steps and heaven's timing move as one. The moment you say yes, the music changes. Doors open. Alignments appear. The invisible becomes visible. And yes, it will cost something. Every great story of faith costs something. But what you give up is nothing compared to what you gain. You'll lose chains disguised as comfort. You'll lose fear disguised as wisdom. You'll lose hesitation disguised as humility. And in exchange, you'll gain freedom, clarity, and unshakable peace. Heaven's will is not a cage, it's the wind beneath your wings. Once you align with it, you will no longer strive, you will flow. Everything that resisted you will begin to yield because you've entered divine current. So, here and now, heaven asks again, not with thunder, but with tenderness will you obey. If your heart knows this message is for you, seal it with faith. Declare it publicly, not for others to see, but as a prophetic act that says, I choose obedience over fear. I choose calling over comfort. I choose heaven's will above my own. Comment 1111 below. That number is heaven's symbol of open doors, divine beginnings, and alignment between your will and heaven's. When you type 1111, you are saying, I am ready. I align with divine instruction. I trust the unseen hand that leads me. It's more than a number, it's a covenant between your surrender and heaven's response. Heaven has heard every prayer you whispered in fear, and now it waits for one word of obedience, spoken in faith. This is the moment where the eternal and the earthly meet. Say yes. Move forward, and watch heaven unfold what's been prepared for you all along. When you type 1111, you are opening a divine gate. Those 4 ones stand as pillars: your will, your faith, your courage, and heaven's promise aligned in perfect rhythm. It is your signature in light, marking the moment obedience became real. Each time you write 1111, heaven recognizes it as movement. Angels take record that your yes has left the realm of thought and entered the realm of manifestation. It is no longer hope, it is action. It is trust breathing. So, let this number echo as a declaration: I am in alignment. I am awake. I will follow. Heaven responds with favor, clarity, and peace beyond measure. Chosen one, the weight that once pressed against your chest has begun to lift. You can feel it, can't you? The air is different now, cleaner, quieter, clearer. You have crossed an invisible threshold. What was once chaos now feels like calm. What once felt like loss now feels like release. This is the moment when heaven begins to crown you. Not because you fought perfectly, but because you endured faithfully. Endurance is not glamorous. It is the quiet choice to keep standing when everything in you wants to fall. It is the unseen courage of waking up again, of breathing when breath hurts, of believing when evidence says stop. That endurance has built something inside you that cannot be taken away. It is the crown no one can see, but all can feel the authority of the unbroken. Heaven is proud of you. You've walked through the wilderness and learned to drink from invisible streams. You've learned that faith is not shouting loud prayers, but whispering them with trembling hands. You've learned that holiness is not about being flawless, but about being faithful, even when afraid. As written in the letter of James, chapter 1, verse 12, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him." Chosen one. That is the promise now resting over you, the crown of life. Not the kind made of gold, but of glory. It is woven from your tears, your prayers, your waiting. Your willingness to stay when leaving would have been easier. This crown does not sit on your head, it rests on your heart. It is unseen, but it shines through your eyes. The world crowns people for achievement. Heaven crowns people for endurance. You did not win through strength, you won through surrender. And heaven calls that victory. The ones who stay faithful through fire carry a fragrance this world cannot mimic. It is the scent of humility and holiness intertwined. You are not the same as before. The storms that once terrified you now remind you of how strong you are. The shadows that once chased you now move aside when you pass. You have authority over what once oppressed you. Heaven gave it to you in the fire. The crown you carry is not decoration, it is declaration. It declares that pain did not own you, that fear did not define you, that faith was stronger than everything that tried to break you. It declares that you belong to the lineage of overcomers, those who rise even when the world expects collapse. Chosen one, wear your crown in silence, not arrogance. You do not need to prove you've overcome. Your peace will say it for you. Your calm will confuse your enemies more than your victory ever could. You will walk into rooms and shift atmospheres without a word, because heaven has given you a new fragrance, one that speaks of survival, turned to strength. You have learned that crowns are not given in palaces but in caves. They are not received in applause but in isolation. And now, heaven is bringing you out not empty, but full. You carry oil, wisdom, compassion, and strength that no one can counterfeit. You are no longer defined by what you've endured, but by what you've become because of it. The crown of endurance changes how you see. You will look at pain differently now. You will see that it was never punishment, it was passage. You will see that even in heartbreak, heaven was building heart capacity. You will see that loss was not subtraction, it was pruning for fruitfulness. You are now walking proof that perseverance produces glory. The world will see stability in you and not understand how you hold it together. But heaven knows it's because you've learned to stand on promises, not emotions. You no longer react, you respond. You no longer strive, you flow. You no longer beg, you believe. Chosen one, your crown is not the end of your story, it is the beginning of your influence. You will carry this endurance into the lives of others who are still in their refining seasons. You will comfort them not with theory, but with testimony. You will tell them, I've been there, and heaven is faithful. And they will believe you because they will see the light of survival in your eyes. So walk gently, crowned one. Speak softly, but with authority. Move humbly, but with power. The crown is invisible, but its presence is undeniable. You are heaven's proof that endurance is not wasted. You have conquered not by might, but by mercy. And now, every step you take shines with the quiet majesty of the refined, the chosen, the faithful, the crowned. Your crown is not made of gold, but of grace woven from every trial you survived, every prayer you whispered, every moment you refused to quit. Wear it boldly, beloved, for heaven recognizes its glow. Chosen one, something sacred has begun to stir within you, a holy reverence returning to its rightful place. For too long, the noise of the world dulled what was meant to stay sharp. You knew of God, spoke of Him, even felt Him, yet somewhere between striving and surviving, awe became familiarity. Heaven now moves to restore what routine has stolen the fear of God. Not terror, but trembling wonder. This fear is not the dread that paralyzes, it is the awareness that humbles. It is the understanding that you stand before something immeasurable, uncontainable, utterly holy. It is the moment when you realize that every breath is borrowed, every sunrise is mercy, and every heartbeat is permission granted anew. The true fear of God is not about punishment, it is about presence. It is the realization that the Creator of all still chooses to dwell near you, as it is written in the book of Proverbs, chapter 9, verse 10, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. This kind of fear does not drive you away, it draws you close. It teaches you reverence in the midst of freedom, discipline in the midst of grace. It turns casual faith into sacred trust. It is the weight that makes worship real again, the silence that makes prayer deep again. Chosen one, you are being called back to holy awe, the kind that quiets arguments and stills self-importance, the kind that reminds you that you are dust, yet dust loved enough to be filled with divine breath, the kind that bends knees not out of obligation, but out of realization. When the fear of God returns, pride has no room to live. The world has learned to speak of God casually, to use his name like decoration, to treat his presence like a background hum. But heaven is raising a generation that trembles again, not out of terror, but out of love too deep to describe. When the fear of the Lord returns, the counterfeit fades, hype dies, holiness breathes again. You have tasted the outer courts. Now heaven invites you into the inner ones. You are being summoned into deeper intimacy, not the excitement of early faith, but the stillness of mature devotion. It is the difference between speaking about God and speaking with him. Reverence changes the posture of your soul. In the days ahead, you will find yourself moved to silence more than speech. You will feel the weight of his glory in moments that used to feel ordinary. You will begin to sense that his nearness is no small thing. Even your laughter will sound different, freer, yet purer. You will walk slower, speak softer, and love deeper. Because awareness of holiness changes how you handle everything. Chosen one, this reverence is a gift. It is heaven's way of protecting you from pride and preparing you for power. The fear of God is the container that keeps anointing from leaking. Without it, gifting becomes performance. With it, even your smallest acts become worship. Heaven wants your heart anchored again in awe, not fear of losing God, but fear of ever losing the wonder of him. It is possible to be active in ministry, but asleep in reverence. But heaven refuses to let you live like that any longer. You will not operate from habit, you will live from holiness. This is the quiet revival, when hearts return to trembling, when whispers replace noise, when holiness becomes heavy again. You will see it not in crowds, but in consecrated hearts. You will hear it in tears rather than applause. Heaven is rebuilding the altar within you, stone by stone, until reverence burns brighter than ambition. And when this awe settles, peace will follow. You will no longer need constant signs to believe, because awareness will be enough. You will no longer chase confirmation, because conviction will already speak. The fear of the Lord births confidence, not arrogance, but assurance that you walk with the one who governs everything. Chosen one, you will move in power, but it will be quiet power, the kind that flows from obedience, not from noise. The world will notice something different about you, though they may not know how to name it. They will feel heaven when you enter a room, not because of your charisma, but because you carry clean reverence. Let the fear of God return. Let your heart bow before his majesty again, not in trembling of despair, but in the trembling of love. Let every breath become worship. Let every glance toward heaven remind you you are standing on holy ground. And as this holy awe fills you, you will realize there is no safer place to be than at the feet of the Almighty. Reverence will steady you when the world shakes. It will remind you that glory is not earned but encountered, that every breath you draw is evidence of divine nearness. In holy awe, fear becomes friendship. Distance becomes intimacy. You will walk softly through creation, aware that every moment hums with God's heartbeat. Chosen one, heaven has begun to sound a trumpet, not one of alarm, but of awakening. It's not a sound you hear with your ears, but one your spirit recognizes instantly. Something inside you stirs when heaven calls like this, because you were designed to respond. This is your moment to rise, not with noise, but with purpose. You have heard the call before, a whisper at midnight, a stirring in prayer, a sudden knowing that your life is part of something greater than survival. That sound is heaven's melody, playing softly under the chaos of the world. And now, it grows louder, clearer, calling you to step forward and let your light resonate. You are not merely being called to believe, you are being called to become, to carry what you've received, to speak what you've seen, to live what you've learned. The trumpet of awakening is not just sounding over nations, it's sounding in you. Every heartbeat is a note in heaven's song. As written in the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11, the hour has come for you to wake from your slumber, because our salvation is nearer now than when we first believed. This is the time for your awakening, not an awakening of intellect, but of spirit, not the pursuit of information, but the return of intimacy. Heaven does not want your perfection, it wants your participation. You are being invited to join the sound that is shaking hearts back to life. You may wonder, what can I do? I am only one. But heaven reminds you, one light in darkness can guide 1,000 steps. One word of hope can silence despair. One act of love can spark a chain reaction that ripples through eternity. Each time you breathe kindness, each time you choose peace over pride, you are answering the trumpet. You are amplifying heaven's sound in a world that has forgotten what grace feels like. You are not small, you are sacred. And if these words have stirred something inside you, know this, you are already part of that awakening. The way you respond now will become a note in heaven's ongoing symphony. Every interaction, every act of support, every spark of sharing becomes sound waves that travel farther than you imagine. So, if you feel the resonance in your heart, let it move through your hands. Press like, not as routine, but as rhythm. When you do, it's as if you're adding one more heartbeat to heaven's pulse. That simple gesture becomes your Amen in the language of light. If the words here have found you in a quiet hour, share them. Picture it as releasing a dove into the sky. It will find its way to another searching soul. You may never know whose tears it dries, but heaven will. Subscribe as an act of remembrance. It is like building a small altar of connection, a place where the stream of messages can continue to meet you in your everyday storms. Every new word that reaches you will be a drop of living water, reminding you that heaven still speaks. And if your heart feels a tender nudge to give, let it be pure, light, and willing, not as an obligation, but as art. Imagine it like lighting a candle on a vast shoreline, joining thousands of unseen flames guiding the lost home. What you offer doesn't disappear, it becomes glow. It multiplies hope. Every act of generosity, whether attention, prayer, or resource, becomes part of the great symphony of awakening. It's not about amount, it's about alignment. Heaven doesn't count your gift, it measures your love. And if words rise in you as you read, leave a comment below, not to be seen, but to be sown. Think of it as planting your echo in sacred soil. Every word you write becomes a seed of light that heaven waters in unseen ways. Your comment is not noise, it's testimony. It tells the universe, I heard, I felt, I'm awake. What we build here is not a platform, but an altar. Every like is a flame, every share, a ripple, every donation, a beam of light extending further than our eyes can see. Together, they form a constellation of mercy across the digital night. Chosen one. This is not marketing, this is ministry. Not an appeal, but an offering of connection. You are free to walk away. And still, heaven will love you. But if your spirit whispers yes, then join in the sound. Add your light to the others. Help carry the message farther into the hearts still sleeping. The trumpet continues to sound, gentle but clear. The awakening is not somewhere distant, it's here. It's now. It's you. So, let every gesture of support become music. Let every act of kindness become worship. Let every yes, no matter how small, become the echo of heaven's great call. Awake, chosen one, and shine. And as your light joins the chorus, heaven leans closer. Every flicker of faith becomes part of the song, remaking the world a melody of mercy rising from hearts awakened by love. Chosen one. This is the season where the old self fades like dusk, and the new self rises like dawn. Something sacred is being born within you quietly, gently, yet undeniably. You may not have noticed it at first, but heaven has been transforming you in the stillness. The voice that once trembled with uncertainty now speaks with conviction. The eyes that once saw limitation now perceive divine possibility. You are not who you were yesterday. And that is the beauty of grace. You have shed layers that were never meant to stay: doubt, fear, guilt, and false expectations that others wrapped around you. The shedding has not been painless, but necessary. Heaven has been peeling away everything that blurred your reflection, revealing the true image beneath the one made in light. You are not being rebuilt from the outside in, you are being reborn from the inside out. The process has been slow, almost hidden, like seeds pushing through soil in the dark. But just as night cannot stop morning, the weight of your past cannot stop your becoming. What was dormant is awakening. What was broken is being remade into strength. The hands of heaven have been at work, even when you could not see them. As the Apostle Paul declared in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 17, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, they are a new creation. The old has gone, the new has come." Chosen one, you are living this verse. You are walking out resurrection not in theory, but in truth. Every breath you take now carries newness. The past no longer owns you, it has simply prepared you. Even your scars tell stories of redemption. Now they no longer sting, they shine. Transformation rarely feels like glory when it's happening. It feels like breaking, like ending, like loss. But endings in heaven's language are beginnings written in disguise. The pain that once felt senseless was actually midwifing purpose. Every tear was watering the soil of your next season. You cried in the night. But joy, quiet and sure, has come with the morning. The new you is not louder. but deeper, not driven by ambition, but anchored in peace. You no longer chase validation because you've discovered identity. You no longer beg for belonging because you know you were never meant to fit, you were meant to shine. Heaven has rewritten your rhythm. Where once there was anxiety, there is awareness. Where once there was striving, there is surrender. You are learning that power and rest can coexist. You don't have to fight for every door. Some open simply because your presence now carries authority born of authenticity. Chosen one, you have stopped seeking signs of approval from others because you have finally seen the seal of heaven upon your soul. You understand now that divine love isn't earned, it's inherited. And that revelation changes everything. You no longer perform for acceptance, you live from acceptance. You no longer chase purpose, you embody it. The birth of a new you is not a single moment, it's a series of quiet surrenders. Every yes to heaven births another layer of transformation. Every decision to forgive, to trust, to keep going, even when no one notices, becomes part of your rebirth story. Heaven calls you reborn, but not as a symbol of perfection, as a sign of possibility. You are proof that grace doesn't just cover, it recreates. You are the evidence that divine love doesn't erase history, it rewrites it. Where shame once wrote failure, grace now writes finished. And in this sacred becoming, heaven whispers something profound. You are not just a new creation, you are a living revelation. You carry within you the evidence that death of dreams, of peace, of hope never has the final word. Resurrection does. You are no longer defined by the wilderness you walked through. You are defined by the oasis you became. The world may still remember your struggle, but heaven only remembers your surrender. Every time you chose light when darkness offered comfort, you were being reborn. Now you carry softness where there was once self-defense, discernment where there was once doubt, and compassion where there was once fear. That is transformation, not that the world around you has changed, but that you have changed within it. Chosen one, walk gently into this new chapter. You don't have to announce your transformation. Those with eyes to see will notice. The peace around you will speak louder than any proclamation. You are no longer trying to become, you are becoming. Naturally, effortlessly, beautifully. Heaven is proud of you. You are not an accident of grace, you are its masterpiece. The new you is not a replacement of the old, but the fulfillment of what was always hidden inside, like a butterfly emerging from its cocoon. You haven't become something else, you've become what you were meant to be all along. So step into the light without fear. The dawn is here, and it carries your name, Chosen One. The circle is closing, not as an ending but as fulfillment. What began as awakening has become becoming. What began as calling has matured into communion. You are no longer standing at the edge, looking for signs. You have become one. Everything around you whispers alignment. You have come to the place where purpose no longer feels like pressure, but like breath, natural, steady, divine. You have learned that destiny is not a finish line, but a flow. It is not something you chase, it is something you allow. Heaven does not demand constant motion, it desires constant awareness. The deeper you listen, the simpler it all becomes. You realize now that the great mystery was never about reaching heaven, it was about recognizing heaven has been within you all along. As Jesus said in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 17, verse 21, the kingdom of God is within you. That truth, once distant, is now home in you. You have searched for light in the sky, and heaven smiled, knowing it had already placed that light in your chest. You have prayed for signs, and heaven whispered, "Be still, you are the sign." Every choice to love, to forgive, to rise again was heaven's reflection taking form in human hands. You have walked through the valley and realized that valleys were never void of God. They were where his voice echoed clearest. You have climbed mountains and learned that the view is not the reward, clarity is. You have lost things that once defined you, only to discover that the loss was liberation. Everything unnecessary has fallen away, and what remains is truth. You have become still enough to feel the rhythm of creation, the pulse of the divine woven through wind and time. The same voice that spoke galaxies into being now speaks softly through your spirit. You recognize its tone in laughter, in silence, in the ache that becomes peace when you surrender. You have finally learned that listening is the purest form of worship. The more you listen, the more the noise loses power. The world shouts of scarcity, but heaven hums abundance. The world tells you to hurry, but heaven invites you to rest. The world teaches you to build with hands, but heaven builds with hearts. You now understand the secret rest is not laziness, it is alignment. When you rest in faith, heaven works on your behalf. Chosen one. This awareness is the treasure hidden in the field, the peace that surpasses understanding, the stillness that turns storms into teachers. You no longer pray out of panic but out of partnership. Your words have become fewer but fuller. When you say thank you, heaven hears more power than in 1,000 pleas. You have learned the language of trust, the silence between words, the space where faith breathes. This is maturity, not the absence of emotion, but the ability to let emotion pass through without drowning. You have become a sanctuary of steadiness in a world addicted to noise. Heaven has not changed around you. Heaven has awakened within you. You see now that miracles are not interruptions of nature, they are reminders of it. Every sunrise, every heartbeat, every act of forgiveness is a miracle wearing ordinary clothes. You no longer chase supernatural moments, you live naturally super. And as you walk forward, heaven no longer feels above. It feels among. It feels within. The sacred has seeped into the mundane. Folding clothes becomes prayer. Breathing becomes worship. Loving becomes prophecy. The divine has fused with the daily, and you have become the meeting place between both. You have walked the long road from striving to stillness, from fear to faith, from brokenness to wholeness. The battles you fought have turned to blessings. The ashes have become oil. You carry wisdom that does not shout, glory that does not boast, peace that does not depend on circumstance. Chosen one, you have not arrived, you have awakened. Arrival implies distance, but awakening means closeness. The light you sought has always been near, woven into your story, hidden in your tears, glowing in your endurance. You see it now, reflected in every person, every moment, every breath. The journey was never about escaping darkness, it was about learning to shine within it. You are no longer afraid of night. You know the stars are born there. You are no longer afraid of endings. You know they are disguised beginnings. The eternal does not end, it evolves. And so do you. Heaven's final whisper to you is not command, but confirmation. You are ready. Ready not to perform, but to live. ready not to prove, but to be, ready not to carry the light, but to realize you are the light. And when silence returns after these words, do not think the voice has left. The silence is the voice, the resting place of every revelation. It will speak again. But for now, it simply says, peace, chosen one. The story continues through your living. Walk softly, love fiercely, and remember, the same light that found you will keep you forever. Beloved chosen one, if your heart is still resonating after this journey, know that this moment is not a goodbye, it's a continuation. What you felt here was not mere language, it was light moving through you, awakening what was asleep. You have walked from darkness into understanding, from burden into breath, and now you stand carrying peace as your inheritance. If something within you has shifted, press like not out of routine, but as a symbol that the message has found its home. It's like lighting a lantern in your own window, letting heaven and others know that hope lives here. If this word has touched you, share it softly, the way rivers overflow to nourish unseen roots. You never know whose silent midnight this light might find. Every share becomes a ripple that travels farther than sight, reaching hearts that still wait for dawn. You may wish to stay connected to this stream of light. Subscribe, not as a follower, but as a companion on the same road. Let future words meet you exactly when you need them, as divine reminders that you are never walking alone. And if you feel that gentle tug to give, do it only with joy. Think of it as planting a seed in holy soil. Every seed, no matter how small, becomes a flame that keeps this light alive for others still wandering in shadow. Your generosity is not transaction, it is transformation. It becomes the echo of love, extending beyond your own horizon. And finally, if your spirit feels gratitude rising, leave a comment below, a single sentence, a whisper of, I'm here. I felt this. I understand. Every written word is a stone laid in this temple of light we are building together. Let your heart rest now. Chosen one, the work has begun within you, and heaven rejoices.